Morning, I am Yergali Ramazanulu, and the center of today's coverage is, of course, the relationship between Astana and Baku, trade, partnership, alliances, and everything in between. Right now, as you can see, the motorcade of the president of Azerbaijan is heading to the presidential palace. This is a state visit of Ilham Aliyev, which means that we can expect some important discussions on the highest level and possible signing of important documents. Akorda announced that today the presidents will hold talks and take part in the second meeting of the Supreme Interstate Council of Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan. Let me remind you, in 2025, the presidents of Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan maintained an active and productive dialogue at the highest level. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev and Ilham Aliyev discussed bilateral cooperation, regional security, trade, and joint projects during phone conversations. They also met in person at major international and regional events. In January, the two leaders spoke in Abu Dhabi during the Sustainability Week, focusing on ecology, green energy, and digitalization. Right now, as you can see, the car is arriving towards Akorda. Their next meeting took place in Budapest in May on the sidelines of the informal summit of the organization in Turkic states, where they exchanged views on regional integration and joint economic initiatives. Most recently, earlier in October, at the OTS summit in Gabala, held at Ilham Aliyev's invitation, President Tokayev emphasized the importance of modernizing transport and logistics corridors. Right now, we can see Ilham Aliyev, who is arriving to Akorda. He is being personally greeted by his Kazakh counterpart. In a few moments, the official ceremony begins. As you can see, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev is introducing the members of the cabinet of ministers. In turn, Ilham Aliyev is going to present a rather large Azerbaijani delegation. Now back to the OTS summit, which was held in Gabala earlier in October. As I mentioned before, President Tokayev emphasized the importance of modernizing transport and cooperation in energy and digitalization, and coordinating the efforts of Turkic nations on the global stage. Right now, President Tokayev is shaking hands with the members of the Azerbaijani delegation. As you can see, it is rather large. A lot of people have arrived to Astana. In just a few moments, the leaders will proceed to the podium and the orchestra will perform the national anthems of Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan. The official welcoming ceremony is coming to an end, which means that Kassym-Jomart Tokayev and Ilham Aliyev will now proceed to having the talks in narrow and expanded formats. President Ilham Aliyev's visit to Kazakhstan is expected to mark an important step in strengthening the allied relations between the two countries. Experts say that this is not just a protocol meeting, but a strategic opportunity to discuss key issues on regional security, defense, high technologies, and joint infrastructure initiatives. Over the past 33 years of diplomatic relations, Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan have built a strong and comprehensive partnership that covers almost every sphere of development. Each year, cooperation between the two countries continues to grow, reflected in an extensive legal framework that now includes more than 170 documents, interstate treaties, agreements, memorandums, and protocols. Collaboration is developing both on a bilateral basis and within international organizations such as the UN, the Organization of Turkic States, the OIC, CICA, and others. Now, joining me in the studio is Miraz Jinbayev, advisor to the chairman of the board for international affairs at Maksud Narikbayev University. Miraz, welcome. So just to establish the basis, how would you describe the current state of bilateral relationships between Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan?
Well, technically we have a highest possible rank of our diplomatic relations in between of Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, which is allies. What is even more important, we are founding members of different regional organizations, which is strong and stable sign of joint efforts to work together on the region. We are both members of OTS, which is Organization of Turkic States. We are founding members of SICA, one of the key foreign policy initiatives of Kazakhstan, and Azerbaijan keeps supporting that. On a political level, I would love to say that, well, relationships in between of Astana and Baku are coming to its most natural state. Over the past 3 years, we see the new dynamic of these relationships. We need to highlight it's already 7th visit of President Aliyev to Kazakhstan, which is a strong sign of Azerbaijani readiness to work together with Kazakhstan to discuss most important things today and to build a future together.
So, as we can see, the trade is increasing steadily, as we just saw from the infographics. The first 8 months of 2025 have already surpassed the 2024 numbers. So, what sectors hold the most potential for further expansion, in your opinion?
Well, technically, we understand that the majority of both of the economies is the oil and gas sector. But we have to highlight we are much beyond than oil and gas. Now we started to work on the green energy. We keep supporting together initiatives. For example, President Tokayev attended COP29 conference in Baku, and President Aliyev supported initiative of President Tokayev to launch SCO Plus format and participated last year in SCO Astana summit, which is extremely positive step forward. Needless to say, we are working together on food security because agricultural complex both in Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan is a rising field in economy. Needless to say, we started to trade finally in a normal way. We started to buy many Azerbaijani products, and our colleagues in Azerbaijan start to export many Kazakh goods, including food supplies, fertilizers, which is also a very strong aspect of a Kazakh economy and Kazakh production. So now we see that both of the countries are ready to create a forward-looking agenda and services, which is also an important part of our trade, because we trade with the services, logistics, and the rest of the services is important part. We work together on the Middle Corridor project. We work together on Eurasian New Connectivity project, and to create this to make free and open spaces initiative work in this domain.
Well, I feel like transport is also very important because both Astana and Baku are positioning themselves as this major transport hubs. And we also have the Trans-Caspian route, which is very important for both of our countries. So how realistic is the goal of turning that route into a key corridor between Asia and Europe? So it has been discussed a lot of times and a lot of focus has been put into this.
No, most of the corridors which we consider today as a classic one was never existed some decades ago. So the middle corridor idea is not new, but this shifted geopolitical landscape make a reactualization of a middle corridor. Now we strongly understand that we need to diversify routes. We need to diversify routes to export, to import our own goods, and at the same time, the transit is important for both of our countries because the western part of the continent still needs to trade with the eastern part of the continent,
of course,
vice versa. That's why we see this rising interest into the middle corridor. It is first, of course, we need to highlight it is a Kazakh initiative. It is not part of some great ambitions of any other extra-regional players. At the same time, we work constructively with our Chinese partners. We work together with European Union, and you know that European Union invested a lot on hard infrastructure in the western part of Kazakhstan to support Middle Corridor initiative because they're also involved in that. We work together with our regional partners, I mean with Central Asia and South Caucasus, to be sure that we don't have these bottlenecks of the projects, because there is no matter how good or sufficient our infrastructure will be if we are not acting together. That's why this level of political affairs and mutual trust in between of our presidents is important strategic aspect to the further success of Middle Corridor. The reason is quite simple. If we synchronize our joint efforts and act jointly, we will not have a bottlenecks. The overall capacity will be the same from different parts of Middle Corridor. To be sure, it is a corridor. That's why it is not an abstract idea. It's not a proposal to develop that, but it is already existing transport route, which is good alternative for many of existing projects. First, because of very nature of our countries. We are not a great power, so we don't have that ambitions to confront with someone. We are middle powers working in alliances, stabilizing the world order, and at the same time stabilizing Eurasian connectivity, which should be existing.
Yeah, you just mentioned the relations between the South Caucasus and Central Asia. So there's a complex dynamic in general going on in the world. So how do you think in these conditions Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan manage to balance regional stability and protect their national interests as well?
It's coming from a very nature of our states. We don't have that rhetorical confrontation.
Sure.
Of course, Kazakhstan was one of the biggest supporters of a peace process between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Nowadays, agreement in Washington with support of President Trump of the United States of America is very important for us. The reason is quite simple. Lasting, strong and stable peace in South Caucasus means a prosperity for broader region. I don't want to apply this logic of just Central Asia and just South Caucasus. We can act jointly. The Caspian Sea is not dividing us, it's actually connecting us. We need to apply a new logic in between of us. You see that we act as a like-minded countries, even if some of the up-to-date political affairs are not going well in terms of our partners in between of them, but Kazakhstan is a reliable partner for every country in the world. We act jointly with our regional partners in Central Asia. You know that President Aliyev actually joining a format of consultative meetings of head of Central Asian states as also very important step forwards. So we already started to apply this new logic of geopolitical positioning the region, the broader region of Greater Central Asia, working together as one, well, discussing all of the things, because we, as of today, we don't have any single issue now, bilateral or multilateral affairs, which we cannot negotiate.
Sure.
It is quite unique, especially for this current state of world order and this changing dynamic of geopolitical landscape. But we already did a huge step forward to work jointly to actually work on our national security and our national interest, because diversification means security. Diversification means stability for all of the countries. We are not working just for ourselves, because we strongly understand the interconnection of all of the Central Asian 5 or Central Asian 8 in terms of Greater Central Asia. That's why you know, that Almaty was a good, served as a good office for negotiations between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Kazakhstan was always supportive for territorial integrity and sovereignty of Azerbaijan. That's why, well, now, when we already did a huge step to the lasting peace in South Caucasus, it's time to discuss new steps forward. That's why we have this state visit.
This is, this was going to be my next question. Well, given the dynamic that we've just discussed between not just our countries, but inside the region in general, how do you see Kazakhstani and Azerbaijani relationships develop within the next, let's say, few years?
Well, I believe we're going to elevate our relations even further. The reason is simple. We are interconnected. We have mutual interests, lasting mutual interests in very strategic term. So it is not about, it's not, this story is not about political affairs in between of two presidents or something like a political rhetoric.
Sure.
It is an absolute strategic interest of both of the countries. It's a national interest of both of the countries. So we're going to have a new field in our interstate relations, which is AI development. Because you know that Kazakhstan now
is paying a lot of attention.
Extremely active in terms of AI development. So I'm more than confident that President Aliyev of Azerbaijan will support Kazakh efforts to develop our own AI model, to work with jointly with supercomputing powers we have in Astana, and which is also important, if you remember, during the COP29 attendance of President Tokayev in Baku, we agreed to work more on energy security, on the green energy, which is still very important, still extremely powerful sectors in our economic structure. That's why, in terms of political affairs, we'll have strong and stable political relations in between of two countries, with a strong understanding why we act jointly, thanks to our historical roots and a vision of the future of the region. Because during the OTS chairmanship of Kazakhstan, we proposed the initiative of Turk Time, the long-term vision of Turkic world. Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan are members or part of this Turkic world. At the same time, we formulate an agenda, forward-looking agenda on bilateral track. That's why I'm more than confident in terms of political, economic, trade, investment affairs. We're going to have a new level in coming years.
Well, Ilham Aliyev is here with a state visit, which is the highest level visit. So, in your opinion, what message does it send to the international community about the relationships between our nations?
Well, I believe technically the message is very clear and simple. we are working together. We are brothers, thanks to our historical integrity,
Absolutely.
Historical unity. At the same time, we see the world very common sense. We understand the global dynamic altogether, and this is not just a state visit, which is always great to have a state visit as the highest forum, but it is the 7th in the last 3 years. Just to remind you, President Tokayev met with President Aliyev more times than with any other president of the world.
That's a very important statistics, I think.
That's why this visit, even if it's state visits, is one another step forward in working together.
Okay, thank you so much, Miras, for your time and for the insightful comments. We will keep you informed on the official agenda of the state visit of President of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, to Kazakhstan. Meanwhile, stay tuned and keep on watching Silkway TV channel. Goodbye.